Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tom LaHue, and today we're going to be looking at Enneagram Type 7s, and specifically we're going to be looking at this book, The Unfiltered Enneagram by Elizabeth Orr. She is a Type 8, so she's not afraid to tell you what you need to hear, even though it might be painful. And every chapter in this book has just kind of been challenging, and no surprise from the challenger. But today we're going to look at what she says about Type 7s. And, it's important for us to hear these kinds of things, not to run away from them, but to actually work on ourselves and improve ourselves. If you're interested in that kind of thing, check out my website in the description below, tomlahue.com. I do offer Enneagram coaching. You can book a single appointment if you just want to get together and talk about some specific issue, or there's, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Whatever, I'm here for you. I want to help you, and also I have a lot of classes available, sometimes live classes, and you can get all that information on my website. All right, so let's jump into this information. I just want to hit some highlights. I do actually read this stuff. I do make myself be disciplined to do the hard work so that I can bring you the best information. Now, I would say that, probably the bulk of what she says to us as Type 7s is, you guys are really great and you guys get people all excited with all of your ideas. The problem is sometimes you have a hard time following through. You have a hard time staying disciplined when things get tedious, monotonous, boring, and you sort of wriggle out of your responsibilities, and you could disappoint a lot of people if you're not careful. If you don't make yourself be disciplined to do the hard work, you could disappoint a lot of people that are following you. You get people all excited about whatever your latest, greatest vision is. You get people all worked up. They decide to sign up. They decide to go with you on this exciting journey. You sell them without even trying. You persuade them. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be amazing. Everybody should buy in. Everybody should be a part of this. And then when everybody gets on board, you kind of move away from it because you got distracted with something new, something else that was exciting, something that was more interesting to you. And then you justify that and say, well, I don't know. It just doesn't work out so well. And that's probably the bulk of what she talks about, the challenge for us. Let me just hit some highlights of what she says here. She says, each of these intellectual types, 5, 6, and 7, we have a way of giving away our authority to some external source. So 5s, think like, well, the statistics say, or the research says, or science says. And then the 6s, they kind of do that with their political parties or the doctors or their research. And 7s, we kind of do that as well, giving away our authority to some external source of reassurance in that which we trust. 7s is the most well-disguised strategy. I would say that 7s are the ones that kind of go against the fear. 5s try to overcome it. 6s go with it and acknowledge it and wake everybody up to it. 7s, we kind of go against the fear. Like, we don't necessarily look like a fear type, at least at first, but we definitely have a fear of missing out, and we have a fear of being stuck, and we have a fear of pain. Okay, and fear of disappointment. So we appear confident and enterprising, but we camouflage our bid for reassurance by cloaking it as fun possibilities and exciting plans. Well, who doesn't like that? Fun possibilities and exciting plans. They sell their mental scheming as a good time rather than mapping escape routes and trapdoors to help them wriggle free from disappointment and roadblocks they might encounter. And so, if things start to get difficult, if things start to get boring, if things start to get emotional, we may try to get away from that and maybe not accept our role or responsibility in being there to be a part of what's needed. So we like to sample everything. We know that. You'll find that some of the most profound observations coming out of the 7's mouth, sandwiched between outrageous stories and inappropriate but still hilarious jokes. And it's interesting, it's kind of like she just is nice there for a second and says, 7s, don't underestimate them, because at times something deep and profound and something even spiritual can come from the 7 that people don't expect. They don't see that coming. They don't think we're that deep. And so that's interesting that she points that out. Unreliable? Sometimes. I have to make myself be disciplined, guys. It doesn't come natural to me. I have to, get my to-do list out, and I've got to prioritize stuff, and I've got to make myself follow through on it. Because yeah, there's a part of me that's just a big kid that I want to go out and play. I want to go out and not have to be responsible. I feel like a calendar restricts me and controls me, and I hate it. But, it's just part of it. Even like playing guitar, you guys always see guitars in the background of my videos. I do play guitar. But it's hard for me to like sit with a lesson and learn to do it exactly the way the original is played. If I want to play some guitar solo, I'm much more likely to just kind of improvise and do it my own way. ENFP, right? Individuality, authenticity. But it's hard for me to stay disciplined and focus on doing something exactly the way it's supposed to be done, putting in that discipline, putting in that hard work. It does feel difficult. And so I have to make myself be disciplined. I think of it as like that 7 line to 1, and I always think if you would go there willingly to that number of disintegration, then maybe you won't end up there unwillingly because you sort of end up there. So I have to make myself be a little bit more 1-like. And to be fair, my tri-type I think is 7-1 too. So it does come a little more naturally to me than maybe some 7s. But following through can be difficult. Following through on ideas that you got excited about. So you get excited about it and you get other people excited about it, but then maybe you don't follow through on it. And by, you've already moved on to something else and the people behind you are like, where's Dad? I thought Dad was going to go to this. I thought Dad was, talking about this concert or this baseball game. Well, how come he already left? And 7s, we kind of wriggle out of responsibilities. We are kind of anti-authoritarian. She talks about that. We're sort of soft rebellious or soft anti-authoritarian, making everybody equal. And that way there's no real hierarchy that we have to obey. And it gives us permission to sort of move away from some of the commitments that feel restrictive to us. Commitments are restrictive. And sometimes we have a hard time making decisions because we know that if we make a decision, then we're locked into a plan and we can't wriggle out of that. We can't break free from that. And that feels controlling. And as 7s, we seek a bit of independence to do what we want to do or to go on to the next adventure if we get bored or stuck. And I would say that's the bulk of this chapter, is just making sure that we don't get ourselves all hyped up and get everybody else hyped up for something we're never really going to do or we're never really going to see through. How many times have you done that? That's something to think about, How many times have we done that? How many times have we gotten excited about something? Because I know as a 7 myself, it's hard for me to move forward with something I'm not excited about. It almost feels impossible. It feels like, doing a book report in 5th grade. Like I can't focus on the words. The ADHD or whatever it is just kicking in and I can't even move forward with it. And I think a lot of people don't think about it like that. I think they just go to work and you got to do your job. You go to work, you do your job. You go to work, you do your job. But I think as a 7, you're like, this is boring. This is tedious. This is monotonous. I think I need to look at the want ads. I think I need to look for a new job. I think I need to move. I got to get out of here. And you really don't. Sometimes you just have to endure. Sometimes you just have to see it through. Sometimes you just have to maybe take a break, get up, take a walk, maybe even take a couple of days off, go on a little adventure, go for a weekend adventure, and then come back and make yourself do what needs to be done. A lot of times we just have to make ourselves do what needs to be done, and that does not feel good when you are a 7. It's kind of like you go out into this world. She talks about this, right? You go out into this world basically with the idea that everything's going to be disappointing. Everything's going to be disappointing. It's all going to be a letdown. And so I've got to stay active and vigilant, just like a 6. Think about that. 6s, vigilant. Guardians, and as 7s, we're sort of guardians and vigilant for anything that might be boring. And how do I break free from this? How do I escape this and plan my adventures or plan my week in such a way that I don't have to sit with disappointment or boredom? But the reality is just a lot of what's needed in life is going to require being able to sit with boredom and sit with, taking kids to doctor's appointments, sitting in PTA meetings or whatever, work meetings. making myself be more okay with things that are monotonous or tedious. And I'd say one of the best ways to do this is just make yourself sit still for a while. I mean, think about it. Sitting still is the easiest thing in the world to do. It doesn't require any energy. And yet, it's so hard for us as sevens to just make ourselves sit still. Like maybe, okay, if you're just starting out at this, just put on some headphones and maybe some background chill music, just a little bit of like ocean waves or something, and just rock back and forth for about 20 or 30 minutes and just allow yourself to slow down. It would be better if you could use no sound, no movement, and just sit still for 30 minutes. But look how difficult that is for you. You're resisting it. You're thinking, I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, if you can't be okay doing nothing, can you really be okay doing anything? And a lot of sevens are not okay doing anything. It's always got to be better. It's always got to be something else. And I love watching Bigfoot hunting and aliens and ghost hunters, and most of the people on those videos are sevens. They don't want to be bored. And so while everybody else is sitting home, what are they doing? They're out planning these adventures, doing anything, even if it's terrifying. I'm going to go in this abandoned warehouse. I'm going to go in this abandoned, hospital, and I'm going to do something. I would rather be scared and in danger and maybe even have my life threatened than to be bored. At least I'm not bored. And they would never see it that way. You almost kind of want to wake them up and say, why are you doing this? Nobody else is doing this, right? But you're so desperate to get away from boredom and monotony and tedious that you will literally, these are the people on Facebook, these are the people on YouTube that are going all over America to get a picture of themselves in some scene that was from a movie. That's a very seven thing. It's like you're literally driving across the country to somewhere in Arizona to get a picture of yourself in front of the house that was used in the movie Breaking Bad, the TV show Breaking Bad, or the chicken restaurant in Breaking Bad. And you're putting your picture there like, hey, look, I'm here. I've done it too. I have absolutely done this myself. But it's like, what else are we going to do? You will literally be bored for 4 days driving across country so that you can do something that you feel is exciting so that you don't have to be at home doing nothing, being bored. And this costs a lot. And it's okay. It's just, it costs a lot of time. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of your energy. And where's all your people? Are all your people glad that you're doing this? And you justify it. The defense strategy of a seven is justification. Well, it was buy one, get one free. Well, I had to go here anyway because Mom, I wanted to stop by and see Mom in Oregon. So I drove all the way to Florida, turned around, went back to Oregon. Well, because what else am I going to do? I'm not going to sit here and do nothing. And I think if we could strengthen this muscle of being able to sit with things, and strengthen this muscle of making ourselves do what needs to be done. If we could strengthen that muscle a little bit, maybe we wouldn't need to escape so much when things get tedious, monotonous, or boring. All right, whatever. Sevens are the ultimate tease on the Enneagram, getting everyone all hot and bothered and on board with a brilliant idea or plan that they're hyping up that you're probably never going to see through. Ooh, that's just, they build up the buy-in and enthusiasm for the scheme, and by all indications, they're spearheading it until it's actually game time. If the seven shows up at all, listen to that. If the seven shows up at all, they commandeer the whole show with a PowerPoint presentation they threw together last night. Why? Because we're good. We're good in a pinch. We're good with our back against the wall. We're a confident type, we're a positivity type, and we're an assertive type, and we will come through and we will be able to present, and people will think you're an expert. Don't get the wrong idea. I don't think that I'm an expert in the Enneagram. Oh my gosh, Tom's just an expert in the Enneagram. Tom's a student. Tom is a student. I'm trying to learn, trying to understand. I'm not an expert in theology. Yes, I have a doctorate in it. I'm not an expert in it. I'm always learning, always growing, always trying to understand. But I think, people, they see our confidence, they see our ability to speak well or communicate, and they think, well, this guy, he's a real expert. I should sign up and follow him. And then the problem is sometimes sevens aren't there when you get there. They're not there anymore. They've moved on because I've gotten bored. and they are distracted with something else. That I'm so amazed at myself that I've been able to keep this channel going for 5 years. And I never lose interest in it because there's so many topics within the Enneagram. And it's about people. And people are not boring. People are interesting. And, there's so many things to learn. I just stay interested in it. But I'm very proud of myself for being able to stay with something this long because it's not easy. Believe me, it's not easy. You might say, oh my gosh, this is so easy. It's really not for a 7, trust me. Okay, if 7 shows up at all, they commandeer the whole show with a PowerPoint presentation they threw together this morning, and the all the old plans out the window and abandoned. And anyway, so the essential state of the 7, or where we are at our best, she says, is a focused condition of constancy that still grants them the freedom to experience life fully. In other words, we know who we are, we know what we're here to do, and we stay focused on that, and we stay productive in that, and there is some freedom for us to color outside the lines, but basically we stay focused on who we are and what we're supposed to do. That is us at our best. But their capacity to see the potential in everything and everyone makes them brilliant visionaries for a bright future. Yeah, I think when we're doing well, we're very positive. We see all the possibilities. We're great at brainstorming ideas. It's just hard for us to follow through on all of those ideas. In fact, we can even get anxious when people take us too seriously. We're like, we could have cotton candy and ponies, cotton candy, ponies. And what about a kiddie train? What about if we had a kiddie train that looked like ponies that you could sit on while you're eating cotton candy? And so see, the ideas, they just start flowing, and then people start writing it down, and they're like, okay, well, Tom wants a kiddie train made of ponies that burp out cotton candy. And I'm like, whoa. Don't quote me on this. I'm just brainstorming here. I'm just coming up with ideas. I don't know that I'm ever going to put feet on these things and get them to walk. I don't know that I'm ever really going to turn these things into reality. Turning into reality is where I start getting anxious and where I start getting nervous because it sounds like it's going to be a lot of work. And if we're going to make that pony cotton candy train, we're going to have to show up every Saturday for the next 5 weeks and work from 7 in the morning till 7 at night. And then the 7 backs up and says, yeah, I don't think that I want to be a part of this anymore. Every Saturday for the next 7 weeks. And see, that's where all the 1s and the 9s and, all these people come in and, all right, well, what do we got to do here? Let's get this job going. All right. And by then the 7's gone. The 7's not even there anymore because it feels constraining. It feels limiting. It feels like I'm obligated, and I'm afraid of those things. I want freedom. I want independence. I want to keep moving. I want to stay focused on what I'm excited about. And this is where it can become a problem because as a 7, you're so afraid of being disappointed that you end up disappointing others. Where's your people? Where's your team? Where's your group? Yeah, the struggle is real, guys. I don't care what you say. You're watching this like, this is so ridiculous. You guys are so ridiculous. Well, it feels real to us. Optimism, dreamers, disconnected from reality. The core belief of 7s is that the world is just one big disappointment after the next, with limitations and mediocrity dashing our dreams and cutting off us at the knees of what could be possible. And so I'm not going to get disappointed. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep making plans. You know what we should do? We should go get tacos. And you know what? Let's drive all the way to Texas. I read about this place. I saw this place on TV show about tacos where they make them out of, giant tacos. Let's drive. Let's go. And then what after that? And what after that? And what after that? And 7s are planning their next trip while they're on a trip. And they're 3 trips ahead. Where are they not on the trip they're on? That's where they're not. They're not present to the moment where real happiness can be found. Happiness can be found in the present, but they're so fixated on the future and outrunning disappointment, outrunning boredom, that we're not fully able to be present in the here and now where happiness really does exist. And that's why I say slow down. Slow down, let your emotions catch up. Yeah, you might feel some stuff like anger. You might feel some stuff like sadness. You might need to just learn to be okay with disappointment. This is where maybe a 9 or a 4 could really help us. Could I sit down and talk to you for a minute? And, as a 4, the healer, and as a 9, making space for you, it might be good to sit down and kind of work through some of these things that you've been running from. Everybody sees what you're running toward. I'm running toward Bigfoot. I'm going to find ghost adventures, ghost hunters. I'm going to find aliens. Everybody sees what you're running toward. Or I'm going to buy stuff. I'm going to go to the car convention. I'm going to buy a new car. I'm going to buy a motorcycle. I'm going to buy jet skis. I'm going to buy a vacation club. Everybody sees what you're moving toward. But what are you running away from? What is it that's chasing you? What is that boulder that you fear? Turn around and face that dragon. Is that dragon these feelings of unease or disappointment or sadness? What is it? What is it that you're running so fast to get away from? What if that wasn't so powerful in your life anymore? What if you could sit with that a little bit? What if you were okay doing anything? What if you were okay doing nothing? What if you could be okay doing nothing? Well, then you'd be okay doing anything, and you wouldn't necessarily need to constantly shift to escape what you're doing to find something more exciting, more adventurous, more fulfilling in life. That's great to be fulfilled. I'm just saying it's a relentless pursuit of gluttony. Gluttony, it's never enough. It's never enough. When is it enough? How many collections do you need? How many things do you need coming in the mail before you're okay? How many more bottles do you need until you're done? How many more do you need to subscribe to until you have enough? When do you know if you have enough? You literally have a wall behind you of stuff that was important to you that you had to have. And you've already ordered more, and there's more coming. When is it enough? When will it ever be enough? The gluttony, it just keeps eating away this emptiness. You have this infinite space within you that'll never really be filled by anything in this world. It'll never really be filled. And what if you could just be okay with that? What if you could just realize that and say, I don't really need this, or I don't really need to get out of here and do something else. I'm just a 7, feeling the stuff 7s feel. I feel the gluttony, but, it's part of who I am. It's part of, it's never enough. And also, if you have an infinite space, it might lead to a religious thought. Is there an infinite being that is supposed to inhabit this infinite space? Just saying. I'm not pushing it on you. I'm just saying. Just think about it. Think about it. Okay, so one big disappointment after another. So after the 7, if the environment they perceive is ultimately disappointing and underwhelming, then the eager 7s are going to do everything they can do to thwart the letdown. They chase the thrilling detours, the plot twist, and at least end up with a good story to tell at parties. Epicures, or Epicureans, right? That's one of the names for 7s. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Epicureans, right? Epicures are famously bad at staying the course and following through on the exciting ideas that they came up with. Yikes. Half-completed projects and abandoned business plans litter the path behind them while they chase the most recent shiny fantasy to capture their brief attention span. How many jobs have you quit? How many jobs have you quit? How many tasks have you quit or passed off to somebody else just because, I don't know, it just doesn't connect with me anymore. I'm just not excited about it anymore. I just lost my enthusiasm, my drive for this. I think I need to quit. I think I need to move. I think I need to change jobs. I think I need to start over. I think what I need is a fresh beginning. How many relationships have maybe you left too soon because they got complicated, they got difficult, they got challenging, there was arguing, and you're like, I can't do this. I can't deal with this anymore. I can't deal with this. How many things have maybe we left a little too early? We should have stuck in there a little longer. We should have pushed ourselves a little more. We should have been more okay with the challenges. But we weren't. And we jumped ship and we moved on. And sometimes it's necessary. Probably other people need to quit sooner, but we can be really good at quitting sometimes. And when we need to stick with something, it's hard to build a life moving every 3 years. It's hard to build any kind of roots or any kind of real community. It's hard to build any kind of real, true career when we're not willing to stick it out. Okay. Lessons I've learned the hard way, guys. The focus of our attention goes to anything novel or unfamiliar that they can turn into a projection screen for their fantasies. Something to get excited about. If I don't have something to get excited about, I feel like there's something wrong in my life. And realize a lot of types are not like that. But I do. I feel like, okay, I need something to be excited about. I'm going to get all excited about Civil War history. I'm going to get all excited about, going to Arizona on a vacation. I'm going to get all excited about the Enneagram. I'm going to get all excited about this church I'm working in or whatever. And if I don't have that, I start to feel kind of blue and sulky and pouty and just, and sevens can look a little bipolar at times. It's like Jack Skellington. I'm tired of Halloween Town. This is boring. I don't like Halloween Town. And then he sees Christmas Town. What's this? What's this? What's this? Something new, something novel, something I don't know anything about, something to be excited about. And that's a way to become a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Is there anything in life that you've mastered? Is there anything in life that you stayed with long enough to really understand it and master it? Or are you the Roy Clark, that can play 15 different instruments? Actually, Roy Clark was kind of a master of about 15 different instruments, so maybe that's a bad example. I know you guys under 30 are like, who's Roy Clark? But by being always on the lookout for the next sexy little distraction, sevens will be unable to experience anything to its fullest depth. And there you go. We could be shallow. We can be. Sometimes we like it to be shallow. Therefore, avoiding disappointing limitations of their attention span and their lack of emotional stamina. So again, what if we could increase that attention span and make ourselves stay with things even when they become boring and dull? And what if we could open up a little bit more space for emotional depth? What if we could allow ourselves to feel things a little bit more? Then maybe we wouldn't have to chase feelings of happiness and excitement. If we could allow ourselves to endure the feelings that are uncomfortable, maybe we wouldn't have to work so hard to bring in that spectrum of positive feelings. Maybe we could just increase all of our feelings. Their core fear is there's an anxiety about the world that it's going to put limitations on me. Oh, there's nothing worse. You know what? Okay, you know what's fun? Let's go to Disney World. You know what's terrible? Let's babysit at Disney World. Be stuck with obligations. We can't do anything fun because we got to take our little brother with us and we got to watch him and we got to make sure he doesn't hurt himself. And so that fun thing just became tedious and laborious and work because now we have this responsibility attached to us. And I don't want to be responsible. I want to be free. I want to have fun. The problem is, Peter Pan, I'm sorry, we do grow up and we do become parents and we do have kids. And, if one of the things that could help, I think, is instead of evaluating how much fun you're having, think about how could I make this day fun for these people I'm with? And it's weird. You'll have the most fun trying to create fun for others. It's kind of strange how it works. If you're not healthy and you're not doing well, you're just evaluating the fun level. This isn't fun. This is boring. I don't want to do this. Why are we here? How much longer do I have to stay here? I'm not having a great time. It's too hot. It's raining. The food is cold. The drinks, the ice melted. This isn't fun. If you're not doing well as a 7, you're like the grader of fun and excitement in your environment. But when you're doing a little better as a 7, you're the bringer of fun and excitement and adventure to other people. You will never have more fun and more excitement in your life than when you are instigating fun and excitement for everybody else. If you will take it on as your responsibility that before we go to the park today, I am going to be the person that makes the kids have a great time. I am going to be the person who accepts the responsibility to help lighten everybody and help everybody have a great day today. You will never have more fun than when you bring fun to others. It's crazy. The very thing we chase is what we give away. Every type is like this. We are chasing fun, excitement, adventure, or we bring fun, excitement, and adventure. Well, I can't bring fun because my environment's wrong. I can't bring excitement because all of these responsibilities. And so you believe that, and then you're just upset all the time because everything's a big disappointment. And that's no fun. It's no fun. You won't let yourself have happiness. You won't let yourself experience happiness because I want to have fun, but not like this. I want to be happy, but not like this. I want to have an adventure, but not like this. It's just never good enough. And so you live in a perpetual state of disappointment, and you end up sucking all the fun and adventure and excitement out of the room, and you lose the very thing that you're chasing. It's crazy. When you focus on it, you can't find it. But when you give it away, you immediately find it. It's crazy. Every type is like this in their own way. Bouncing from adventure to adventure, all while planning the next 3 adventures and missing the opportunity to be present in the one you're on. Wow, good stuff. Idealizing something novel allows us to fantasize about what is possible. It conveniently redirects our attention from the hard work that's needed to be done right now on the last subject or the last idea that we thought about. And so we move away from the hard work and the discipline. And she's nice here. She says, I don't think 7s are trying to be like this, flaky and irresponsible. She says, I believe that 7s believe themselves when they say each new plan they come up with is just better than the last. They're not trying to be disingenuous with this. It's just that they'll do anything to avoid having to face the process that will reveal to them their own limitations. Toss aside everything in pursuit of the next thing. Never at home when the phone rings. The gluttony. Oh, exhausted. We're like the baby that's exhausted but won't go to sleep. More entertainment, more fun, more adventure, more. Fill in the blank, right? It could be drug. It could be illicit stuff too. Oh man, that gluttony can show up in a lot of bad ways. Imagine if you're a 7-wing 8. Think about that. I'm a 7-wing 6, right? Gluttony mixed with fear. But imagine gluttony mixed with lust. Yikes. That could take you down some dark roads. You could end up having some problems. You could end up having some problems. Okay, exhausted. Fear of missing out. Hold my beer and abandons the present moment in search of an even better moment. Lather, rinse, repeat over and over. Flakiness, inconsistency. People who jump on board with us could become very disappointed when we don't follow through. Their boldness and forward momentum wins people over, and suddenly everybody invests in the 7's dreams. Now, immediately the 7 starts to feel panic, because now we have to follow through on what we have been proposing, and everybody has bought into our sales pitch, and now they've decided to sign up and join us. And alas, the disappointment they're trying to avoid is then handed off. We give it to other people, and we blame others and justify others. Well, it wasn't me, it was my team. It wasn't me, it was my computer program. It wasn't me. And the frustrating cycle repeats itself. Okay, well, justification. There's more. There's a lot more. But just go buy the book. It's really good. Couple things she says at the end about how you could help this is pick a small task every day that make yourself do it. Just make yourself do it every day, whatever it is. Maybe making your bed. Some boring, tedious, monotonous task, vacuuming the house, watering the plants. It would be great to sit down in the morning and have some kind of devotional reading, whether it's the Bible or, Aristotle or something. Make yourself do some monotonous, tedious task every day to kind of get into that habit of I can stay with something. I can continue in things. Put limits on yourself. Maybe if you are a collector of something, decide I'm only going to spend $100 a month on it. I'm only going to spend whatever it is, whatever's appropriate. But put some limits on yourself instead of just allowing yourself to just go with the gluttony all the time. Give yourself permission to be hurt, to feel betrayed, to feel anger and sadness, whatever comes up in these emotional experiences. And give yourself permission to sit with that and be present to it. And also, I think come back to your 7 place. I mean, where's that happy person? Are you a happy person? Has all this focus on happiness made you happy? I hope so. Share that with other people. Be a light. Let that lighthouse shine, let other people see your lighthearted, fun, excited self, and let them experience you at your best. All right, guys, we're working on this together. All of us need a little bit of help and encouragement. I'm here for you. If I can help you in any way, please feel free to reach out to me. I love you guys, and as always, be present to life. I'll see you next time.